At what age should someone be legally responsible for their actions?
I think 18 is a good age. Let's see for
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 18.
What about socially responsible?
I think if you're responsible, like for other things, as an adult, I think you should be responsible for everything. But like at 18 should be the age.
Can you clarify socially?
Yeah.
So I'm asking because I don't know if you guys know about the Supreme Court hearing with Judge Kavanaugh.
Right.
So what the issue in question happened when he was 16 or 17 years old. This is an allegation of sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm.
At what age would it matter to you as an adult if someone had done as a kid?
I think obviously mental state has to be a big part of it, whether he's intoxicated or not, the environment he's in, whether or not the people around him forced him to do it. But in this case, I'm going to say he should be responsible for his actions because what happened is pretty unacceptable, and having a position of that importance is crucial to have a history of good decision making and someone we can trust to be in the Supreme Court.
What if he had been 14? Would that have made a difference if he was 17 when he did it, if he was 14?
I mean, considering 14-year-olds don't party as much, no, I don't think that's an equal comparison to his age at that, as a 17, a young adult.
Do you have anything to add?
I think if you're like around 18 and old enough to like have the option to be tried as an adult, then like, especially in a case like this where it's this serious, you should probably try it as an adult.
Would it have made a difference to you if he had, assuming he did it, if he had admitted it and said, I don't remember, I was blackout drunk, but I may have done this when I was 16? Would you say that he would have the character to be on the Supreme Court, or would it be something that would still bother you?
I think it would change things a lot. I mean, all people are asking for really is an investigation.
Right.
So considering there's no investigation happening is kind of fishy, and considering the accuser came out, took a polygraph test, admitted it, she passed the polygraph test, and he's denying it, I say just have an investigation. That's all we're asking before his election and his nomination or inauguration.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
At what age do you think people should be criminally responsible for their actions?
I guess it would have to depend on the type of offense. If it's like a severe offense, I think all ages should be held responsible.
Okay. So you told me that you were familiar with the Brett Kavanaugh thing, and you understand what he's accused of.
Yes.
Of doing this thing at a party when he was 16.
Yes.
Do you think he should be, assuming he did it, he denies it, do you think he should be held responsible for it?
Based on the court of law, yes, he should be.
So you think they shouldn't confirm him to the Supreme Court because he did this when he was 16? Or you think he should in some way face some consequences for it?
If the verdict ends up true that he really did do such a thing, then I believe there should be a consequence for it.
What if he had been 14?
In 14, I would think that's a little weird, but there are penalties for that.
Okay, but there's no age in particular that it's just based on the offense, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that he would have been 14, you just think it's unusual that a 14-year-old would have done that. And it's more normal, not more normal, but it's just more probable that a 16-year-old could have done that.
Or like an 18-year-old.
Or an 18, someone who was like, okay.
All right, so first question is, at what age do you feel like people should be responsible for their actions?
I think people should start being responsible for their actions around maybe like high school, like when you're starting to learn like what's happening around you, you're not really a kid anymore, you have to be more responsible, take action. I think that's a good time.
Absolutely. So, jump to the next thing. Do you know anything about what's happening with Brett Kavanaugh right now, the Supreme Court Justice nominee?
I do know what's happening with him. There's a lot of talk. He was in high school, so...
Yeah, absolutely. So do you feel that, right, if the allegations are true, that is something he should be responsible for at his age right now? Should he be responsible for his actions at, I think it was 16 or 17?
Right. I think it was something that he needs to be looked at. It's still part of his character. It's still like he did it, he knew what he was doing, and you can't just overlook it because it was something that happened all those years ago. It's
Yeah.
still something he did,
Absolutely.
taken into consideration.
Yeah. And then the final question, what age would be too young for that to affect his record now? So if that was something that he did at 12, 10, what age would you consider that too young for him to be held responsible for his actions?
It's hard to say just because it's hard to think of a 12-year-old even doing an action like that. So I think like once you do something like that, you have to look at it for the rest of your life and consider it as part of your character and part of how you behave in this society.
What age do you think people should be responsible for their actions?
18? Over
18?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with what's going on with the Supreme Court now?
No, not really.
So there's a judge that's being nominated, and his nomination is being held up because he was accused of assaulting a girl when he was 16. He's 53 years old now. Do you think that an accusation when you're 16 should affect you when you're 50 or older? Or at what age do you think that you should start holding people responsible for their actions?
16, I think it's enough.
16 is enough.
Yeah.
Okay. What if he was 14? Would that be enough?
I think it's gonna influence the person the whole life.
Okay. So however old he was, if he did this, he should be punished or held
Maybe.
accountable in some sense.
Yeah.
At what age should you be held legally responsible for your actions?
I believe it should be above 18.
And then what
18 and
about
above.
what about socially responsible? Like if you sexually harass someone as a teenager, what should you be held responsible as an adult?
Yeah,
Starting at what age?
18.
So if you do something when you're 17 and then it surfaces when you're 50 years old, should
Well-
you still be responsible for it?
You should still be like punished for it. That's a good question, actually. So, yeah, you should still be punished for it. However, never mind. Just go with the after puberty too.
So anytime. So if you're 14 years old and you sexually harass someone and someone brings it up when you're 50, people should still have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.